Hello once again everyone, and welcome back to another video. V8 Vets Season 20, Round number 6, track guide for Monza. You guys seem to be getting all the draft tracks this season. Another one where the draft, saving fuel, will be very critical to a good race result. Able to save really a lot of fuel around this track, especially with the wings set all the way up at 22 degrees. Yeah, it's going to make for some very interesting racing. May see some draft sharing if team cars get together, swapping places down the long straights with the draft. You never know. This track really opens itself up to quite a lot of strategies, especially if you can get stuck, well, not stuck, but in with a teammate. Helps share saving the fuel, using the draft of the car in front to leapfrog, maybe to try and catch the queue of cars ahead if they've broken away. Yeah, very simple track on paper, but it isn't simple. The chicanes really are tricky, easy to overshoot, easy to underbrake, slow the car off too much. The rear tyre cops quite a beating because out of those slow corners you're really accelerating out of either first or second gear to get the drive. So the rear tyre cops a bit of a beating. The left hand side tyres are loaded up a fair amount around here as well with those really prolonged corners, those right-handers. So tyre wear's quite high, lap time's dropping off after one lap about 3/10. So, and then gradually going further and further. So it should make for some interesting racing. It's good fun. You'll be able to see East Coast and the Pro Series here as well this week. So, a lot of entertainment coming from Monza this week. But this is for the vets, and we'll hit the track, get stuck in to the track guide. So here we are on track at Monza. I've gone out for my slow out lap. As I said during the intro piece there, tyre wear is quite high. Drop off of 3 to 4 tenths after your first lap. So saving your tyre for that crucial qualifying lap will be key to a good qualifying position. Starting up on pole may be a hindrance more than a benefit. It remains to be seen. The pole man may get stuck out the front, not able to save as much fuel as those behind them in the draft, saving the fuel. But also starting up the front will also hopefully help you get away from what is usually a bit of carnage in turn 1 and turn 2. Every time I've raced here at Monza, there's always been a turn 1 crash. So qualifying will be key to try and getting yourself far enough ahead of where those crashes might happen, because the track opens up and then funnels in as you get to turn 1. So it really tricks people into think they can go 3-4 wide, sometimes even 5 wide I've seen. So yeah. Qualifying definitely key, not the be all and end all though. Yeah. But as I always do, I've gone out, done a few laps. I'm used to the track. I've done a handful of laps now for the Pro Series, so I'm used to the track. But I've gone out, found my brake bias, 54 on the dot I was quite happy with. Quite comfortable. I was able to brake the car as hard as I wanted without locking up. It was stable through those long corners where I might need a dab of brake just to settle the car. But yeah, 54 is where I ended up with. My best lap of the session was a 146.457. Definitely more to be found on track just by nailing a few more corners, but yeah, not too bad. The setup this week is definitely a lot better than last week. It's a lot more stable, but this track really hurts the rear tyres, as I said, so looking after those rear tyres will be crucial. Getting off those slow speed corners, very tricky, puts a lot of load on that rear tyre. So let's get stuck into the lap. We're coming down into the turn 1, turn 2 chicane. We're looking for the 150 meter board. Braking about, it was about 175, or it just passed the 200. In kart looks like I've, almost at the 150, as you'll see when we go on board when I hit the brakes. But yeah, it's basically I've hit the brakes just past the 200, all the way down into first gear. Whoops, wrong button. Using as much of this first inside curb as possible here. We want to try and open this second corner up as much as possible without sort of, trying to go long and then long through this section. So take as much as this curb up as we can to shortcut to try and open this one up a little bit more. Still in first gear, dab of the brake. Just sneaking this inside curb, not hitting it though because it will unsettle the car too much. Staying in first and running it out through the gears. Staying on this curb, nice and straight exit. Let it run out and then run around. The straighter you can have that wheel, the faster you'll be going around these corners. We're just running it up through the gears now, looking for our next braking marker. It's just as the bridge sort of gets to the roof of your cars where we're wanting to brake, or it's about the 150. But there's no board. Again, down to second gear, using as much of this first curb as the sim will allow to be able to open up this next one, and again using as much curb as we're allowed again. Running it all the way to the exit. No real braking marker for this corner. Very tricky. You're not quite in line with this, the orange of this guard railing here. It just comes down to preference, how confident you are under braking. But it's just a heavy brake, down into third gear, trail it into the corner, rolling it through, then on the power nice and hard. Using a lot of the exit, nice and straight, braking just before the 50, down to third again, little bit of inside curb, using as much as the exit curb as we're allowed, and then running it up through the gears again. Again, straighter, you can keep the wheel through those little sharp, those small straight corners, I guess you could say, the faster you'll go. We're braking just as we get under the bridge, down into third gear, little bit of inside curb, can't take as much as we'd like to with the supercar due to the off track, but as much as we can. Staying up on this ripple strip. If you're out here, it sort of tends to want to wash you out towards this next corner too early. So up on top, help pull it around a little bit more. Use as much of this next one as we're allowed. And then using all the exit that we're allowed to. And then just running it nice and straight to our penultimate, or to our final corner. Braking just as we're getting to the white line, or just before the white line here. Or just before this green bit of AstroTurf. Down into third gear, heavy brake. Using this inside curb, help rotate the car. Slowly feeding on the power. Max throttle now. And then we're using this exit curb as a little bit of a motocross berm. Help keep us in track limits. And then nice and straight towards the finish line. And there we are. There's a lap of Monza. As I said, very simple on paper, but there is a lot to this track. It's easy to go fast here, I will say, but it's hard to go really fast. Yeah, the setup is nice though. It gives you a lot of confidence, especially under braking. Once I found where I was happy with my brake bias of 54, I was able to go in at the corner as hard as I wanted to. I was able to trail the brake as much as I needed to. So, yeah, very confidence-inspiring setup this week, which is good to see. So, thank you, Jamie. We'll go on board now. We'll see the lap from the cockpit and see if you pick up any more tips. And there we have it, another track guide done for another week. As I said, it's a very tricky track. It doesn't look like it on paper, but it really is. Yeah, you'll see a lot of mistakes, especially if you watch East Coast and the Pro Series Tuesday and Wednesday night. You'll see a lot of the top drivers making mistakes. You'll possibly see myself make quite a few mistakes. It really suckers you into wanting to go deeper into the corner, go faster through the chicane, and it'll catch a lot of people out with the off tracks or even a slowdown just by taking too much of the curbs. So yeah, this week's racing for everyone is going to be very interesting. With the drafting, with the fuel saving, strategy is definitely going to be very key to a good result. But yeah, hopefully you have enjoyed this week's video. You've learnt something. Yeah, so good luck, have fun with your week of racing, and we'll see you next week for another track guide. Bye bye.